Okay, so this is the China vlog. I started off on my trip to China and took two flights to get into Beijing and then a train. And then when I got into Beijing, I got to the hostel and met up with James. We went out on a walk and checked out the Yingxin Garden, which was next to the Forbidden City. We had some dinner, and then the next day we headed out to the Great Wall of China. We got a bus and a cable car up to the Great Wall, and we walked along the west side of the wall. It was quite a busy day, but after hiking up some steps, we got some pretty good views at the top. We then went back down and got on the cable car up to the east side. And the east side offered some pretty impressive views as well. Great Wall is over 2,000 years old, and it took millions of people to build it. So in China, every family would send one person in each family to go and help build the Great Wall, and in total length it is 21,000 kilometers long. We had some pretty nasty cucumber crisps as a snack, and then we took a toboggan to get down to the bottom of the wall. Our next day out in Beijing was to the Summer Palace. We originally thought, oh, we'll do the Summer Palace and then a few other things throughout the rest of the day, but we ended up spending the whole day at the Summer Palace because there was a lot to see. The number of animals on the corner of each building represented how important the building was. And in the middle of Summer Palace there was a really big lake. We then managed to take a boat ride around the lake with some good views of the Summer Palace and the surrounding area. Somebody lost one of his tickets to get into the Summer Palace, but the security guy let us in anyway. Summer Palace was cool. We spent the full day there and had a really nice sunset evening as well. We then went out for some food, which was like some coleslaw, and then we had roast duck, which was kind of a bit cool, so not great. Our next day we booked a guided tour around some of the highlights of Beijing, so we first went to Tiananmen Square. We then entered into the Forbidden City, where we heard a lot of the interesting history about the place. The Forbidden City was a really impressively big area with lots of different buildings. We stopped off for some lunch, and then on the afternoon we headed to the Temple of Heaven. This is where the emperor would come to make prayers and offer gifts to the gods. And we went out for some more dinner, which was disappointing. We left most of that, it was pretty bad. Next day we flew from Beijing to Xian. James wasn't very well this day, so I went out in the evening by myself for some food. Walked around a bell tower and then saw some of the weird cool caves thing on the way to a mart, but they were all fake, but it was still cool to see. Next day James still wasn't well, but I went out to see the Terracotta Army. I started off thinking I could get public transport, but then realised I had to take a taxi to get there. I had a guide to show me the different rooms of the terracotta discoveries. There was thousands of warriors and a lot of them are still underground. They're still doing a lot of archaeology to bring up a lot of the terracottas that are still under the ground. After Xi'an, we took a flight to Zhangjiajie, and we sort of stayed outside of the city but closer to where the park was in the Wuyilang district. The hostel owner was really helpful in getting us the stuff booked, and we followed the recommendations for some food, which was really nice, but it was quite oily, but after some bad food in Beijing it was great just to have some change. Our first day there we went out into the park through the east gate, and you had to take shuttle buses and cable cars, but we saw some great scenery, and we went on a big long hike up to One Step from Heaven. We were going to do a hike all the way down and then get a cable car back up, but we got stuck part way down, but it just meant that we went back the way we came. It was quite a long day, but it was some amazing scenery. James hadn't been very well, but we still managed to walk 11 miles, so pretty good going. Our second day there, we went to two different places. First, we went to the glass bridge. We couldn't really see the views that well because it's kind of foggy. We went on sort of a virtual reality hot air balloon ride. We then took a zip line across to the other side of the canyon. We went down some slides, and then we got a boat ride sort of along the lake. and we walked along a really nice canyon with a beautiful river, and just the mountains were pretty high up on either side. Next we got a taxi to Tianmen Mountain. We took a cable car up to the top, and then we walked along sort of the high-rise edges. This was really high up, but it had some great views when it wasn't too misty. And we walked down the 999 steps.
999 steps, we just counted 890. Disappointing. No good. I want my money back.
Before we travelled on the final day, we went back into the mountains, saw some monkeys. It was a pretty rainy day, but there were still some great views. We went along a place called the Golden Whip Stream. Saw a really weirdly placed TV screen that was showing some pretty crazy movie. James was a bit shocked. We then had a pretty terrible lunch where we had some Duran pizza.
Bloody horrible. It's horrible, what's it?
The hostel owner was great. She helped James get his AirPods back after he lost them in Beijing, and gave us lots of recommendations of where to go. We then travelled on the evening, taking a flight to Shanghai, and a taxi getting in just a bit after midnight, maybe 1 in the morning. Next day we sort of just wandered around Shanghai, tried some of the food, which was okay, but we realised there wasn't that much to do in Shanghai, so we played some pool and then went to the gym. On the evening we went out and tried some different food. We had some chicken feet. I didn't feel well after this food, and I did pass out, so I took it easy from then on. Had a couple of chill days with some more maybe safe food, and checked out the Lego store. There wasn't much to do in Shanghai, but it was a good place to have a rest before we took our flight to Osaka in Japan. So yeah, that was the China vlog. It was a cool place to go. There was a lot to do in Beijing and Zhangjiajie. It was cheaper than I thought it might have been. Food and accommodation and like taxis were really cheap. But it was a bit different. You had to get quite a few different apps to be able to like navigate and pay for stuff. But if you do research beforehand, it was fine. Visas were kind of difficult to get from the UK. But yeah, a lot of cool places to visit. Shanghai was a bit quieter, but it was a good place to rest. Unfortunately, we weren't well for all of the trip, but we still managed to do quite a lot and get a lot of things packed in.